we are a clean food startup.
Clean.
What is clean food is
Mm.
our food will be 100% food without any preservatives or hyper processing of ingredients. Currently, we are there in Indian breakfast and Western breakfast and snack, but eventually we would want to be a complete packaged food brand from anything you can think, which can be made clean. Right? For example, now as of now we have pancake mix, we even have dosa mix coming in. So anything which can be made clean is where we are playing.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. Here we are with Mr. Sreejith Moolayil of True Elements. He is the co-founder and CEO of True Elements, one of India's fastest growing healthy snacking brands. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. Thanks a lot, Devik. So thanks for the opportunity.
Sir, we did a little research about you. I had the opportunity of meeting you prior to this show about 2 years back at MIT. That's, I think, where we interacted for the first time. That is when I came across a very interesting part of your journey of building True Elements, this entire company over the last 6 years, which is that you were in a corporate job for an extended period of time, close to about 10 to 12 years. So if you could just tell us a little more about what drove you to take that decision, because I believe you were in Tata, Cognizant, various other companies for a span of about 10 to 12 years. So what was that journey like of putting your foot down one day, deciding that you want to quit your job and start something of your own?
Yeah, so for me, during the MBA days, I had this urge to do something of my own.
Yeah.
But thanks to my graduation, I thought what I wanted to do was actually a not-for-profit kind of an establishment. But it was certain that I want to do something of my own few years down the line post my career. So that was early stage of MBA. After MBA and 2 years of working, changed my aspiration. The not-for-profit as of now has gone to the backseat. Let me put it like that. It might come back sometime in future. I always wanted to create a brand and see it through the complete life cycle of a brand. That's what I wanted to do. Though I did my MBA in HR, I was always fascinated by the marketing and the brand side, and that's the reason why I want to do that. But again, once you got into job, started into job, and working for a few years, and then that's when I happened to chat with my then brother-in-law and now co-founder Puru. So he also, he's my brother-in-law, co-brother-in-law.
Okay.
So he also had similar aspiration. Aspiration was to see a brand from the incubation to scalable IPO kind of. That's the journey we want to at least experience.
Yeah.
That's what both of us got talking, and then we actually initially the plan was to create this brand in China. Because in China. So 2007-8, China was the talking town in India. Everybody was talking China is growing so fast. They are doing so many stuff. India is getting everything imported from China, all those kind of stuff. And we both read a lot. So reading got us to reading a lot of China, and then we thought that's the country to be in. And culturally, we both countries are very, very close by. So we thought there's a lot of importing from China happening. Let's do something by creating in China from products exported from India. So that was our initial plan. Yeah, so that was our initial plan. And to make it happen, obviously, we had to be in China. So I managed an assignment within Cognizant to head their human resources in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So I spent close to 2 years in Shanghai.
Wow.
Eventual plan was to move out from there, from Cognizant, and then start off. But that's when the reality shock we got, because China in books and China in media is not what China is in reality. In reality, China is a black box where nobody knows why something is happening, why something is not happening.
Correct.
Only influential and government can. So in one line, if I had to put it, I for first time, though I'm a law student by graduation, I never cherished democracy. But China 2 years made me realize that was anything can happen only when you are on a fair fair marketplace, and that only happens in democracy. So we thought, okay, let me move back. So 2011 is when we moved back.
Correct.
And 2011 we quit in India. So Puru quit first. He started off. The idea was to start something in the healthy snacking space for corporates.
Okay.
Idea was so area was clean. Area was clean. Health was the area. That was again thanks to 2009-11. We had a couple of family situations at home whereby we lost our close ones for lifestyle issues. That triggered health discussion in the family, and then health was an area as an area which we thought we should do something around there.
Correct.
And then China gave us an edge there, because one thing which we learned from China is Chinese people eat the right stuff. What we eat in China is not actually Chinese food. Okay.
Yeah.
The real Chinese food is cooked rightly. The ingredients are right, and then they eat it at the right time. So we thought, okay, food is there, health is there. So that we got. And again, why corporate as a first business model? First business model was inside corporate cafeteria kiosks where we were serving in between meals, snacks, and beverages. Why that was? Because that is a low capex model. Because when you're inside a corporate, you don't need to pay for the rental.
Absolutely.
And then electricity and water is free, and you have a captive population. That's what we thought then. But 1 year down the line, we realized what we have is only power and water and free electricity. Customers, what we thought aren't there. So by the time we are already expanded to, again, first when two entrepreneurs been in corporate for 7-8 years, have decent enough saving, think big. You start doing big from day zero, which probably is not the best stuff, because you should think big, but do step by step. Don't start doing big until you're sure your area is clear. So that got us an year and a half to learn, right? We were year and a half. We realized, okay, in a corporate, let me give you a 10,000 people in a building. There are 2 cafeterias. We only have access to 1 cafeteria. That means only 5,000 people are going to come. Of 5,000 people who are health conscious, want to eat healthy in between meals is, let's say, 5-10%. We are coming down to roughly 250 to 500 people. And in between 250 to 500 people, how many people can come daily and pay you X? Unit economics didn't make sense. By the time we had already bled a lot of money and we owned up. But what we had by that time was we had a plethora of products which we had sourced of regional brands which were real healthy. Let's say there was a healthy snack from Rajkot. There's a drink from Ahmednagar. There is South-based. So we had a lot of interesting products. We thought, okay, now we have corporates in hand. We have products. What do we do? Like next. And another opportunity again. So when at that time we want to have something which gives us cash. Okay. So the eventual stuff which we did next was corporate wellness. So from there, what we did was we told corporate will manage the wellness programs for you guys. That means what you currently do in terms of wellness expenses is purely what do you call? It's not more not preemptive and not proactive. So we thought we'll build the tech around it and we'll do something around it.
Correct.
We started that off, corporate wellness for companies, and that business is still not cracked by anyone. It is still out there for somebody to grab. But why we had to think beyond that is because it has a threshold. It cannot become a multi-million-dollar huge company. Because,
not scalable.
Because every year you need to go and renew the contract with the HR, and then the way HR, I'm also in past 11 HR professional, but still every year an HR guy will tell boss, last year I had 10,000 people, this year I'm 15,000, so your rate has to go down 50. It doesn't happen, right? So we thought there is business there, but that's not scalable. So we had products, we knew bit of consumer inside. So we then in 2014, so 12 to 14 is when we did all this. 2014 and we became an e-commerce marketplace for healthy food. Okay. And again, theoretically and conceptually, we are a little rigid on what we believe in. It may not be the right stuff, which people say, but we don't know what is the right stuff. But we have been rigid on some of our philosophies and principles. For example, when we started health food marketplace, 2013-14 is when sorry.
That is where it began in 2012, health food marketplace.
Yeah, 2014. Health food marketplace started in 14. But Amazon, everything was in buzzword. And health food marketplace, if you see, or health marketplace, there were few companies. but most of them were selling 80% of the revenue coming from two areas: sexual wellness and protein supplements. Okay, because if you look at the curve of e-commerce adoption, so in the health space, people went and bought stuff which they were ashamed or not comfortable to buy in a medical shop.
Correct.
And that was sexual wellness products. That was the first pull for people. When it comes to non-conventional electronics and books, that's where people moved in. But we were clear we will not do all those shortcuts. We will do 100% healthy food.
Correct.
So that was probably we still will take that decision. That's a different stuff. But from business standpoint, that gave us what do you call non-competitive edge. We don't have an edge because when somebody's making people buy high value product and easy to we are making people to switch to food.
Yeah.
So, but by the time already all these marketplaces had raised a lot of money, and we were still bootstrapped. So it had its own shortcomings, and then we realized e-commerce can only be built at least the initial leg with a lot of fund infusion against equity, because you need to acquire consumers by probably burning in short term. But when you're doing a bootstrap, it is not very easy. You need to have that kind of a big kitty, which we didn't have because we already had were without job for 3 years and without salary. We have our own startup, but without salary for 3 years, and it had issues. So we thought, okay, e-commerce could be challenge, and then we need to look at something that was sometime in 2015. Is when we thought, okay, it has to be a brand where we have more margin play. Okay, so 2015 we decided we need to have a brand, but that brand was supposed to be only a white label brand for our marketplace. That means it is like Solimo for an Amazon. It was like that. Okay, so 2015 to 16, it was a white label brand for healthyworld.in. That was our domain for a health food marketplace, healthyworld.in. It was a white label till 2016. 2016, we realized, no, this can become big. Then we put True Elements in front and Healthy World in back. And sometime in 2018, we have completely stopped focusing on Healthy World. Domain still generate monthly 20,000 unique users because it is more a content marketplace. We don't do it. So that's where True Elements started. But when we started, it was more of a private label, white label, and as such, we had a plethora of products across all the categories. And our earlier consumers still think we are, as you introduced in the beginning, I want to correct them, we are a health snack company. So because we have seen multiple avatars. So what we are since day one is we are a clean food startup. What is clean food is our food will be 100% food without any preservatives or hyper processing of ingredients. For example, why is it that let's say a puri is not supposed to be so healthy, but a bakri of jawar is because puri is made of maida and it is boiled at close to 200 degrees Celsius under oil. So all micronutrients get taken away. But if you look at a jawar is whole grain. It is made at a tawa in a not so high temperature, slow cooking, right? So that's our philosophy. That is, make food out of only food without too much processing and without adding anything which is non-food. That's the space in. Currently, we are there in Indian breakfast and Western breakfast and snack. But eventually, we would want to be a complete packaged food brand from anything you can think, which can be made clean, right? For example, now as of now, we have pancake mix. We even have dosa mix coming in. So anything which can be made clean is where we are playing.
Yeah, I think you all are just moving the entire discussion from completely processed foods, like what we consume, what we're used to consuming, and making it from like a processed food to a clean food. That is the whole thing from a long-term perspective as a company.
Yes.
So just one thing.
Packaged food is perceived to be hyper processed. So packaged food is supposed to be hyper processed, and as such, it is a villain in an Indian household. We want to change that. So you put it right way. Packaged processed food to clean food.
So when you started, so Healthy Foods was more of an aggregator from whatever we read. At that point, you all had like sourced or curated healthy foods from the country, all over the country. When you mentioned that you got some drink from Ahmednagar, something else from another part of the country. So at that point, you all had curated these things and you all were providing that service. And then now cut to True Elements where you all are white labeling. Now by white labeling, do you also mean that you all are manufacturing it in-house now? And were you all also doing it previously, or have you all recently started the manufacturing also?
Okay, so in the initial journey, as you put in, it was all third-party brands. When we were selling in Healthy World, it was third-party brands. And then when we moved to white label, in the initial journey, we were only asking those manufacturers to put 2 elements and give it to us. That was 2016 to 2017. 17, we moved into a small factory. This year in 2021, April, we moved to a 15,000 square feet huge factory in Jawadi. So as of now, we do everything at our factory.
Understood. So that is the whole journey, I would say, that you all have had to now manufacturing it yourselves. Also, another interesting thing which I'd like to highlight here is I read that you all have a 75% workforce of women. That's a very, I would say, positive, conscious decision that you all have taken.
Let me not take the credit away. I don't think we wanted to have a complete women production. It's not a full factory. It's not women. Our production is 100% women. Okay. Again, we will not obviously not lie. We are true elements. So we didn't want to have 100% women workforce. What actually happened is pre-pandemic, when we started the factory, the area where we are in, it's an IT hub in Jawadi. Not many factories there. Okay, not many factories there. And people whom we could get easily, and we were a little outskirts of Hinjawadi, people whom we could get easily were a lot of women. Okay. And women who were working for first time in life, right? So we got 1, then 2, then word spread, and a lot of it. So initial we got a lot of women by luck. Okay. And then when it happened, we saw the merit of having them in the production. And then eventually we thought, okay, then we started doing, okay, let's do this. We will only have women in production. We will not probably have such restriction in supply chain and the dispatch, where there are women, but not completely women. But so that was the conscious choice. But initially, it happened by God's grace.
Happened by chance, yeah. So another thing which you highlighted is, I was going to ask you this question, that where you met your co-founder. So because for me also at Renovations, I found my co-founder at another company, another 3D printing company. Okay. So how is I would say, how do you all balance each other out in terms of two partners? How has that journey been for you?
Okay, so I have written a couple of articles on this earlier as to two co-founders can't be two thick friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Most likely, for the interest of the company, they must be two professionals who have very complementary skills and who can get along. Okay. Who can get along, and probably when it comes to both of them, need to have the lowest possible level of egos in between them. Yeah, okay. That's all it should be required. Need not be two best friends, because two best friends may not tick all the 3 criteria which I put in. Okay. So coming back to your question, yeah. So the way a father and son also have conflict, a husband and wife also have conflict.
Yeah.
Conflicts occur. You don't have the maturity to handle through it. With one thing being certain, that the objective of both the parties are the same. Absolutely. Right? Why do a father and son though might fight, but end of the day will go back and have dinner at the same table, because end of the day that relationship hook is there. Okay. Here the relationship hook is 2 elements. We need to make it big. Yeah. Okay. So sometimes your decisions I may not like, but I know you see something which I am not able to see, so let it go. Right. So you need to have the maturity to get it balanced and let it go. So that's required. I think that's more of a relationship session than a co-founder chemistry. Yeah. But but we, as I've told earlier, so we had this common vision of building a brand that connected us in the beginning. Then when that brand became 2 elements, and when the purpose became larger than just brand, and when we have 250 people who also believe in the vision, every decision at our place is taken with true intent, right? So it helps, because that connect which brings us together is becoming stronger by the day, right? That helps. So that's what I will answer.
I would say that me and my partner were in a similar situation. So it was about 4 of us who planned to start this company, Renovations. And when it came to execution, it boiled down to the 2 of us. So Abhilash and I, we were not the closest of friends in that group of 4, in fact. So this is what we keep joking about. We're like, we became partners first and friends later. And I'd say till date, we still have that, like you said, we have the complementary skill set. And having that clarity of vision in terms of what we really want the company to do. And also another point which you highlighted, that having the lowest possible ego when you're communicating with your business partner, knowing and understanding that we all, like the both of us or how many ever are there, are going to take a decision in the interest of the company. So knowing when to let go of any point and when to stand for your point, that is also, I think, a very crucial decision between two partners. But it's quite interesting. I think,
so what happens, I'll just extrapolate a little more.
Yes.
So what happens wherever I believe the founder chemistry fell through is because when one of them start thinking that the company is me and I am more company than the other person. So then it becomes a little difficult.
Correct.
So that's where an ego, as I've told you, that's very important. But that's an evolving relationship with founder and the company. Because at the end of the day, we also keep joking that True Elements is there today. Will it be there with us for 10 years down the line? No. But we both are going to be like this. So let's not complicate stuff like that. So at the end of the day, anything can happen, right? So end of the day, that's how relationship work, and that's how the relationship with company also changes. You would have seen a lot of articles which used to once upon a time come in the WhatsApp University that you should not have too deep relationship with your organization, right? Those kind of forwards keep coming. So we also keep changing because relationship with company is different, relationship with brand is different, relationship between two individuals is different, and it has to be treated differently.
Correct. Yeah, you need to have the distinction in every space to really make the most out of it.
Yeah.
Correct. So now coming to another aspect of the growth of your company, a very, I would say, point which you highlighted in the early stages is that you and your co-founder, Mr. Puru, had to go without a salary for 3 years. And that, I believe, is a very crucial, I would say, a very challenging period. If you don't mind, I can ask you this question. So having responsibilities, being married, having kids, it must have been a very challenging period. So I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are going to listen to this episode and going to be like, okay, I am married, I do have children, or not even children, I do have responsibilities, but I still do want to start something of my own. What would your advice or suggestion be to people like that out there?
So one thing, two parts. One is advice to the others. I don't think I'm capable to advise, but I'll tell you what we did. Okay, because I am telling I'm not capable to advise is because it is a pure choice of the person on the basis of the conviction he or she has in the idea and himself, right? So it's a struggle with the first time. There's no right time to start up. I sometimes believe that if you start up right after the college or initially like the stage you are in, right, you are still in the verge of getting into the responsibilities and all this kind of stuff. So you don't have too much external pressure to take money home and those kind of stuff. So but that also, for example, just mirror that to my side. I have a spouse who works. So few years her income made sure that our food on the plate is not questioned. But when two income to suddenly one income, the lifestyle quality of lifestyle drops, and the whole family also takes an impact in that. The family has to be equally convinced and bought into the idea of your startup journey. That's also important. And more than that, everything can be seen through as long as you have complete conviction. And again, nobody has conviction throughout for 24 hours, for 365 days. There are ups and downs. When you're down, when you're on your downside, either you would have a mentor ecosystem or a co-founder who will pull you up. Okay. So again, with God's grace, we have a few mentors who helps us beyond all this. For example, just to give you sometime in 2014 when we had 14 and 15, when e-commerce was just starting off, we were not having salary for 3 years, struggling. So he told, why don't you pick up one consulting job whereby you spend 1 day a week. Okay, 6 days you are working here, 1 day you work for that consulting a week and cover your costs. And he got that consulting assignment, right? And it helped us to be float for a year, right? For example, if the basic stuff is taken care, you can fight it out at the company level. Again, that depends upon, for example, what happened with us is 11 to 14, we had so many shocks. Okay, so that prepared us for the shock which was coming in 14, 15, right? So sometimes what happens is, so that was important. We were lucky that we got that soft shock before we got the hard shock. Okay. Some people, they start off from day one, they raise money and then they don't see a situation where they are short of cash. Okay. And when that situation comes, they don't know how to handle it. Right. For example, in our case, it has happened multiple times, right? Funding which was supposed to come just got stopped. But first 2 years we were panicking. Now even our team knows, our first level team who've been with us since 2012, who saw us as corporate wellness, those guys know that we will manage. Okay, so that's important. So again, so everybody has their way of handling it. So people who are looking to start up but with responsibilities, one thing which helped me and Puru as individuals is we made sure that by the time we started off, we had very less fixed outcome and fixed outlays of EMIs. Okay, for example, just to give you, when I came back from China, so I had to buy a new car, and my family was saying buy a new car and buy this big one and all those things. Even that time I was saying, no, I want a car which will give me the best mileage and is not of EMI. I bought Tata Indica, and again I used to work with Tata Motors. That affection still was there. I bought Tata Indica. The choice was because that was only car available at diesel at 3.3 lakhs. So and then it pushed me for 6-7 years. So one thing is, you need to be really frugal. You need to be very wiser in terms of your expenses, right? Okay. When you have loads of EMIs, the pressure is too much, right? Because managing pressure of managing a house and food is not a big stuff if you manage it rightly. But you have so many other, and even if your lifestyle is such a way that you need to have one vacation outside India once a year, you need to have that car, you need to have a smart watch. Nothing wrong in it, right? There are people who can manage that and work. But I believe I could save through because I didn't have any of those.
Exactly.
But that's not the only right way. There are right ways whereby you can have those and still start up. But that's why I'm telling I'm not qualified to answer that question. That's why I started. Okay. But I believe we both could manage because our needs were less. Okay. And we could manage with whatever external support this phase.
I think just cutting down to the basics in these early years, it makes life much simpler also in terms of
So that actually in a business like ours, and today we are building a brand. Okay. And for example, I manage the backend and Puru manage the front end, and demand generation and marketing, right? So backend has to be completely cost efficient, right? Absolutely. Factory can only be, you being you're a mech engineer, right?
Mechanical engineer,
So I remember. So being a mechanical engineer, you would know that factory has to be really frugal, and so that helps. Even that learning then helps right now, right? But can I use that when I am wearing a marketing hat of whether to spend on a radio advertisement a month of 5 lakh rupees, which may not yield me that month return. It might probably yield later. But there I have to spend. So that learning helped. That being frugal in that learning.
You learn where to be frugal and where to invest the money from a long perspective. And so now that we've touched upon this point, in terms of, I would say, the entire the world that we're in right now with Instagram and social media and various other platforms, currently I would say that when y'all started, I don't think, from my limited knowledge, that the entire generation was very conscious about what they were eating. Cut to now with Instagram coming in and everyone finding, like, it's become, I would say, a thing about healthy eating and clean eating and various other things. So what was that shift which you have seen with social media booming? How has that helped your business grow in the last, I would say, 5 years? Has that growth been rapid or has it been gradual? Have you seen it from a different perspective?
Okay, I have a complete different point of view than what you stated. The world still want a tasty food first. And if it is healthy, good. Okay. The Instagram posts are only for extrinsic motivation, right? That I am eating healthy. But remove the Instagram camera, the person would love to punch into a burger or a vada pav or a Coke, right? As long as the person is, there are people who are really healthy. So the sizable 99% of India is still the India which I just told, right? So there is not even 1%, less than 0.2% would be the real healthy masses. Okay, that's our first learning during our corporate wellness service kiosk learning. As I've told you that 5,000 employee building, 10,000 employee building, 5,000 people of that. See the number of people who are healthy to experiment, and even they were not going to spend every day. So answering your question, we believe True Elements is being bought by consumers for its taste and for the philosophy of food being transparent and true, and health is an additional corroboratory statement which is coming along with this package, which makes me go back to the brand again. Because in India, you can only sell food on taste. If you need to go to masses, it has to be taste. So we still don't. So we used to make products which were healthy, let's say 3 years back. Now, first thing is, okay, we obviously have to have XYZ tick before it gets launched, which is true, clean, transparent, healthy. But first tick is it taste?
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So we don't. So that's why if you look at any of our content out there, we will not call our products healthy.
Correct.
There are products which let's say we call as for example, I'm right now snacking on my protein bites. Okay, so while just before the show started, protein bites. So why is it called protein bites? If you're not a healthy brand, why is it called protein bites? It is not because it is healthy, and it is just because there's a huge awareness of protein. There are people who are going to the gym and people who are going to adventure, high endurance activities. They're looking for protein food, and even commoners who doesn't have a clue of what protein does, who doesn't have a clue whether the person needs to have it, is going by the wave. No, they are eating protein. Let me also eat protein. So I am actually making this crunchy, tasty protein bite, which also is healthy, but I'm not going to call it healthy anyway.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's
the moment we call it healthy. Sorry.
No, I was saying that's a very different twist to building the brand also. I think that's completely looking at it from a very different perspective for yourself and for the people.
It's a two-step which we make sure is, moment we call it healthy, people think it is not tasty, and people think it is expensive. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
so we want to be in line with market in terms of pricing, not premium. Okay. And it cannot be called healthy. Moment healthy bola, तो first healthy आपको समझ में first क्या आता है? Salad. मतलब common Indian आदमी को salad. मतलब शाम को आप मतलब you may not, when you are like 5 o'clock, you have real hunger prank. You have to be somebody like Rucha Devakar to have a bowl of salad. You and me will still want to bunch on something which is tasty. And if it is a salad, I'm fine. That's the twist. That's the twist.
Correct.
So we are not a health brand. We are a clean label brand, which is a tasty food. So we are driven by taste.
No, I think.
But obviously,
what you rightly said, I just like to reiterate and re-say that whenever people think of healthy, I mean that's a big majority. The moment they think healthy, it's like expensive and not tasty, and that's how everything has been brought about. I'd just like to show you. You said that you were snacking on your protein bar. I've been thinking about you ever since I bought this. So this is your True Element protein mix.
Protein mix.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am actually a very avid buyer of this for the last, I would say, 1.5 years.
Wow. Thank you.
This.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been snacking on this. I live in Chembur. There is one society store near my place. I was walking past it one day. Ever since I moved to Mumbai, I started doing my groceries on my own. And I happened to see this. And this is exactly like you said, that evening time is where I get like really hungry or I want to snack on something and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, what is it that I want to really snack on? So this is when I came across this, and this has always been like in our cupboard. So
okay, great.
Yeah, genuinely.
Okay, that's
me and my fiance, it's like our go-to product. We both enjoy having it. And now coming to the clean label part of it, which you mentioned, the clean label. Just wanted to understand a little more about what do you mean by clean label? Because I did read up about it, but I didn't really understand what clean label meant.
So again, so just to put an anecdote, we are the only clean label certified packaged food brand in India right now. Okay. So what it means is our food packs were sent to the clean label lab in the US. They did test for 117 chemicals, which is usually seen in food. Those chemicals are coming because of processing, coming because of addition as preservatives, coming because of the way the raw material was handled or grown, right? So one thing, we are certified after looking for all these chemicals and told that no, all our products are 100% clean label. But that's for the world. Okay. But clean label again is a Latin word for the world. For us, what it means is, as I told you in the beginning, food has to be, the package has to be only food. That means if you see in ingredients, anything which you don't understand, in E number, I number, some chemical name, you don't understand. A commoner like you and me won't understand. You will see sugar coming in some other name. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't understand. So what our quest is to have ingredients only food which you and I understand. That's our first rule. That means I can only put food. I cannot put glycerol. I cannot put so multiple kind of stuff, because they will put these brands write no added sugar, and you'll see in behind glycerol. No, sugar nahi hai, but it is extracted sweet in different format, right?
Correct.
So for us, there has to be 100% food first filter. Second filter is, now when as I've told you, the food cannot be hyper processed. That means it has to have all the micronutrients intact. Okay. Micronutrients which will be intact, for example, fiber lelo, or all the minerals and vitamins lelo. If you hyper process it, hyper processing is it either frying it or hyper baking it, okay, or extruding it, okay, we'll make sure that the temperature is 200 plus and all the nutrients get lost.
Correct.
So we don't do any of those processes. Okay. And there as well, we have got another certification, which again, first Indian companies, we are the whole grain certified, again, first company which is whole grain as well as clean label certified. Whole grain means the finished product need to have the amount of fiber, which is 100% fiber in the raw material. That means, let me just give you an example. Then let's take jowar. Okay. You will find these days lot of jowar made products outside. Let's say there are jowar puff bolke, there are products. Okay. You will not look like jowar. Yeah, it is look like more a kurkure. Okay.
Yeah.
But वो extruded है. वो extrusion करने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? उसको पहले जवार का बाहर का skin polish करके निकालते हैं. Okay, because polish skin is full fiber and it cannot be extruded. So full बाहर का fiber निकाल लेते हैं. फिर उसको मतलब बैटर बना के high pressure, high temperature environment में bake करते हैं उसको. That's a jawar puff.
Yeah.
Okay, but in that process, one, the fiber is removed. Second, high temperature. For us, when we are using jawar, we don't polish and remove the fiber. The finished product also will have all the part of a grain, which is endosperm, fiber, and outer cover and starch. Okay, and we have got a certification also again for that. And so that's what the clean label is. One is only food. Second is simple processed and not hyper processed.
Understood. So now that brings me to another question. Considering that you all have the clean label certification, which is wonderful, and the 100% whole grain, how does that, from a shelf life perspective, does it affect your products?
Yeah, it is a big challenge. Shelf life is a big challenge for us. So we keep innovating, doing multiple kind of stuff to manage the shelf life by looking at the package size, by adding oxygen absorbers. For example, you would these days see oxygen absorbers, what we used to see in the suitcases, silica absorbers. Now we have food grade absorbers, which is made of ferrous and ferrous. When you put it inside the pouch, ferrous becomes ferrous oxide and it sucks up all the oxygen inside the pouch, and then nothing can grow, right? So we do such kind of interventions to make sure that shelf life is manageable. Yeah, but there is a huge area of improvement there, because being without any preservatives and chemicals, shelf life is a challenge which we are fighting with. Yeah, but it is still not a bottleneck for growth. Correct. Yeah, but with the current shelf life, can we be an international player based out of India? No, we cannot. That means we cannot ship, right? Though we are right now available on Amazon.com, but we cannot keep inventory for a long time. It's a tough game.
Correct.
So that's still not cracked completely, but work is on there.
Yeah, I think that is one of the biggest challenges that you all will be facing, keeping in mind the brand ethos, which I think is beautiful in its own way. So that would be one challenge which you all will be facing. And now that you told me about going international, so I did read up also a little more about going international. So I read that you all have also been, you all have raised a lot of capital over the last, I would say, 6 years that you all have been in existence. That brings me to another question that raising capital is one aspect. That is also in itself a challenge. But how did you all manage to scale? That is one other aspect which I'd like to I would say, touch on. Like, what were the challenges you all faced while scaling this company?
So scaling, raising capital is not very, very tough. Okay. Though we don't know the game yet, to be frank, we did not raise much. We only raised 12 crore in equity. Okay. Till date, from incubation, that is including the money which we spent on Healthy World. That's all the money we have raised till date. Okay. In equity, we only raised 12 crore. So, but what that actually answers the second part of your question. Okay. How do you scale with such limited capital, right? So that has to be part of the culture of the organization. Okay. So there are companies where you need to spend a lot of money before you can start showing some revenues. Ours is a model whereby you don't need to spend a lot of money to start the revenue flow. Okay. We can have, as long as if you're in a hurry, then you need to spend a lot of money. But if you have the patience and if you are clear on what is your proposition and what channels you want, for example, we are still not available in, let's say, modern trade. Modern trade is, let's say, a Star Bazaar, a D-Mart, Nature's Baskets of the world. We are not available. You will find a lot of our competition available in those stores. We didn't get into those stores purely for the reason that those are expensive channels to enter, okay, and to service. We chose not to enter. We thought we'll go the online and general trade, which is the category A Kirana stores. So those are the strategic decisions, because those decisions are driven by how much money you have in hand. One, so obviously, if you had raised a lot of money, we could have gone and spend in modern trade, spend in Instagram and Facebook, those kind of stuff. We didn't want to raise money because we also are clear that we need to have sizable percentage stake through the journey of the company. And as such, we didn't raise a lot of money. And another thing, initial, as I've told you, from 11 to 15, we didn't have money. So what we know is how to run business without spending. Okay. So it's not be right if I tell that we didn't spend money because we are smart. No, we don't know how to spend the money, to be frank. Okay. So if you would have raised a lot of money, we would have struggled to spend, and I'm sure we would have done a lot more mistakes, right? But that comes at a cost for an external person. That then, can't you grow faster if you had money? Yes, we could grow much faster if you had money, but our pace is also not bad. We are doing 100% growth year on year in terms of revenue. But there are startups who are doing marginally more. But in food, you will find more or less everybody in the space. But in DTC, if you look at, let's say, skincare, color cosmetics, personal care, the growth is much faster. Okay, for multiple reasons. But in food, nobody has cracked that sudden acceleration and growth by investment. Not cracked that yet.
Understood. No, exactly. I think even when we, when Abhilash and we started Renovations, in our initial year, we were just essentially bootstrapped. We were making money from the business and various other things. And only last year, in fact, in 2020, post-pandemic is when we raised some capital. So we also realized at that point in time when the money came in, that we were like, we have now learned to optimize our expenses to a level where even when this new capital comes in, we need to really go step by step. And also another point which you touched on is that currently in the world, or I would say the culture that we're living in, everyone's so crazy about startups, like raising capital left, right, and center, and like your unicorn startups and IPOs, that people really often forget like a sustained, profitable growth model. They just, I would say, are so focused on raising capital and growing the business out as fast as they can that they lose out on a lot of patience in terms of, like you said, that y'all are 100% year over year growth y'all are seeing, and y'all are being patient about it. So I mean, that is where that sustained growth, let's say 10 years later, that growth is going to be much more, the foundation is going to be stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah, so actually that's another, probably the media only covers the story of successes, right? So so among the, let's say, last 4 or 5 IPOs, and among all those unicorns which came in very shortly, how many companies have gone belly up in last 10 years, right? So just to give you, I read somewhere very recently that there are just 1,000 Series A startups currently in India. Just 1,000. Yeah, I don't know whether that's right or wrong. Series A to B startups in India. So they probably are negating the startup which has cross-paths Series C. Okay, so A, B, C, there are only 1,000. Okay, but there are how many startups are there in India? I'm sure there are lakhs.
Yeah.
Right. At least there will be a couple of lakhs for sure. There is some data which came from the Startup India website. It was a couple of lakhs, right? So from couple of lakhs, so little number have reached there. Okay, so everybody doesn't become a unicorn, and being a unicorn at a VC stage vis-a-vis being a unicorn at an IPO stage is two different stuff. It's not the same, and all need not become unicorn as well. Right. So it's okay. So I would advise, I would strongly believe, don't look at the money to start up. If you're starting up to make money, then probably doing job at your own company or joining a startup as an employee is the easiest way. If your objective is to make money, I would advise join a smart startup at a leadership position. Your salary is taken care, tensions are in there, you have your life, and then you have your money and ESOPs. Right. So and obviously if things goes bad, you can move the company. Right. You just move the place. Right. So anybody who is starting up for money, I personally believe may not last long. I might be wrong. I might be happy to be proven wrong.
In terms of the other side of entrepreneurship also, in terms of what the reality, harsh reality is, it was my partner Abhilash's birthday on 5th of September. And usually birthdays are like, okay, I'll go out and take a day off. And just one night before, fourth night, we got a call from one of our key customers, and he was like, this is a huge order and I need you all to deliver within a day. So we were still partying with him till like post work. We went out for the first time after a long time. We took some time off and then we went out. We were there till like 11:30, 12. We just cut his cake. Everyone got back home, slept. Everyone was back in the office by 9 a.m. So I think, and we worked through that entire Sunday and the full office showed up. So I think that is, these are things which when you later look back, that's, I think, a much more enjoyable birthday where you're like at work, delivering things. There's a different joy in, I would say,
so
going through this entire period.
So for example, when you are an employee, what gives you confidence to fight out is probably your nice pat of back from your manager. Or I used to read in my first 2-3 years the appraisal written by my then boss in Cognizant. For last 3 years, I had saved and kept him. He's an amazing guy. He used to write nice appraisal forms, feedback forms. So I had saved it, and that gave me the adrenaline for first 3 years to fight through the low days. But post that, these days, if I am not feeling good, I go to Amazon, search through elements, random product, read 5 reviews of 5 customers. I am good. That gives me much more dose than a heroin shot. So like that, you feel good, right? So we have to find our way to do that, right? The way you told that customer call, birthday off, work up. So
no, I think that's a lovely way of looking at it. I think now I'm going to start applying that, because there are times when even we have these low days where, so I think the good part, or it's a pro and a con. Like in startups, like some months are going to be like spectacular, some months are going to be horrible. And then in those horrible months, you're like really mustering your courage to wake up every day and still go at it and do your best. And like you rightly said, like looking at those customer reviews, that picks you up. I think for us, speaking to those 5 customers who give us regular business and just giving them a call, speaking to them, even if they do not have that business, knowing that you've built that business relation and have been able to serve them when they needed your services, that in itself is motivating enough to keep pushing you towards the other side. Yeah. And so just one last thing which I'd like to now, before we end the entire discussion, before I would say, currently, in terms of the kind of workload that you all might have in while running the company, how is it that you all manage to have your work-life balance? Is there something specific that you do? I happen to see that you're into yoga and various other things. So having 2 kids growing up, that in itself is another, I would say, responsibility and a job. It's like a beautiful job of raising your 2 children and running a company. So how do you really manage that aspect of your life as well?
I have a different. So I believe that there's no work life. Both are same.
Yeah.
And being an entrepreneur, you would agree
I'd like
more
you to
than.
really elaborate on that. That's quite interesting. Please.
Yeah. So for me, so when you start keeping both are two different boxes, one work, one life, right? Then these two start hitting at each other, and there's a friction supposed to happen, right? When we have two boxes, but if it is one box, if you can compact and place it nicely, so I think non-entrepreneurs may not understand this concept when we tell you that was so even if you are on leave, for example, since I started 2011, 2012, I take leaves once in a while, right? But even on a day when you are on leave,
Yeah.
you will still be spending, let's say, 12, 16 hours of hours you are awake,
Yeah.
and let's say 5, 6 hours you are engaged, rest 10 hours, at least 4, 5 hours, if you put all together, you still be talking, thinking about the company for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So that is what a life for us is.
Yeah.
Right. So how do we make sure that we obviously don't become workaholic and forget the rest? Rest is also required, as I keep seeing that you actually need to be mentally free for some time to think fresh, because when you are completely into it, you cannot even think. Okay. So what I do there is you have to make sure that you're not in the thick and skin of operations or execution more than 4, 5 hours a day. Okay. Otherwise, because that 4, 5 hours you have to put in a day to make the machine run smoothly. Okay. But the rest 4 hours, 5 hours is very important for the company's tomorrow. Right. Today is that 5 hours, but that 5 hours will give us a direction for tomorrow. And that 5 hours may not be in the company. Sometimes it's in the company. Sometimes it's outside the company. Sometimes it's family. Okay, because that 5 hours also required. So rather than looking at two different boxes, one box where you can manage, because otherwise it become tough. Because unlike let's say a typical, let's say, European corporate life where you are 9, 5, and 5 o'clock, let the office burn down, I am not bothered. Right. Anyway, I don't think we Indians do that. Yeah. But we cannot be like that. For example, today is a Sunday, we both are talking. Why are we talking?
Yeah.
Right. So we obviously want to learn. And why do we want to learn? Both of us need to want to learn. Okay. So there might be people who will see this video and feel like that learn something. But end of the day, I am listening to you, want to learn from you. You are listening to me, want to learn from me, right? Yeah. So this learning believe that we will be able to incorporate in our companies or startups, right? But is this work? What we are doing right now is not work, right? But for a family, अरे बॉस आज भी तो धंधे की बात कर रहे हो, आज भी यही कर रहे हो. For them it's work. For a person, a European kind of work style person, we are working, right? What you're doing will eventually directly benefit two elements, and then your startup and us. But if you start thinking like that, there's no end to it. Yeah. Put it all together and structure it, and things will fall.
No, absolutely. I think that is something that I've been subconsciously applying right now in terms of work and life and just managing time and various other things. And I'd say that thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me your time. And it was a lovely conversation that we were able to have. And I'm sure that we were able to, I would say, when we put this out there, a lot of people will be able to learn from your story. And I'll add like your LinkedIn profile. So people can probably DM you and reach out to you in case they have any further queries. So is there anything?
Thanks a lot, David.
Is there anything you would like to end, I would say, the podcast with, the episode with, any specific learning or advice to anyone?
Nothing. So I'll tell you, when we met in MIT, I think it was 2016, 17, it might be.
2016, yeah. 16, 17.
17, right?
17, yeah.
17, okay. Yeah. 17. So that came through one of my cousin brother was in MIT. He's the one. So that time also you spoke about 3D printing and all those things. Yeah. Now. So it's so nice that people who actually start gunning for what the person want to do from day zero from the campus. You were in final year that time, and now so commendable work. 4 years, you have 4 years and 18 months of pandemic where you don't have any clarity of business coming, not coming, no idea. So
Yeah.
hats off for the fight.
Yeah.
And ये तो starting है. So as I've told, there are lakh startups before a Nykaa or a Zomato is seen by people. But I don't think we should get happy or disappointed by those stories. We have our story. We will tell someday. So
absolutely, sir.
Best of luck, and let's all let's all build our stories worth telling. Whether the story is good or bad, it's fine. Even there are Karan Johar movies, and there are what do you call, not so glamorous rich movies. As long as it's a movie, it's fine. We are making our movie.
Let's build our own story.
Yeah. That's all the message. So let's build our stories. Story might be whatever.
Exactly. Thank you so much, sir. It was absolutely a pleasure.
Thank you, Devik. Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure talking to you. Thank you, Bal. Thanks.
Okay. So perfect, sir. I think I'll stop recording at the end of this. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
It was lovely. I think next time you come back to Bombay, please do visit our office.
Chembur, I know.
3D printers.
For sure.
Yeah, it'll be a pleasure.
And as you are into 3D printing, I don't know the scope of your work. Next time when you are in Pune, we work on Saturdays as well. So drop by factory and let's talk.
Done, sir. Done. I'll drop by. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.